Well, here we are, week 5 of the Sean Lewis Aztec Fast era, and the Aztecs are off the proverbial schneid. They are now 1-0 in the Mountain West Conference after defeating Hawaii. Steve Perez along with Louis Weiner welcoming you to this edition of Aztecs All In. Conference home opener against Hawaii. Aztecs emerged victorious 27-24. Louis, how about a quick hello for your adoring public?
Steve, how are you? Great to be 1-0 after being 1-3. It's nice how college football works like that.
Hear that? That's a roar of the crowd for you. Yes, sir. And we're going to do a recap of this game, but there's a few topics we wanted to discuss before we get going into it, right?
Yeah, it was an exciting game. Aztecs held on to the end. It looked like the defense was really petering out there in the fourth period, but the Aztecs were able to get the stop that they needed and held on to win the game. And they did a really good job of corralling a really good quarterback. Braden Shager looked like Russell Wilson out there a lot of the times. He was able to escape. Trey White ended up with 3 sacks on the game and could have had more except for the ability of Shager to shake the defense. He was very impressive being able to do that. But the Aztecs, eventually they got the stops when they needed, Steve.
Right, 16 carries for a total of 57 yards for Shager. Of course, he lost 36 yards, so his net was 21. But he did ramble for 14 yards on one attempt, and there were some times when it was like, hey, can you get that guy on the ground? And he'd say, no, I'm off again. Another thing that kind of popped out to me was the Aztecs had a pretty good grip on the clock through 3 quarters, and then toward the end sort of lost a little bit of that, and it ended up being fairly even the time possession. As a matter of fact, the University of Hawaii ended up on the just slightly ahead, holding the ball for 30 minutes 56 seconds versus the Aztecs 29 minutes and 0 seconds. But hey, they held on to the ball and they won the game. Enough.
Yeah, Steve, at one point, I think it was about a 5 or 6 minute difference in possession, and then Hawaii went on a 7-minute drive in the second half, and that kind of tightened that up there. But yeah, when the Aztecs hold the ball and able to keep it away from the other team, that's always better.
I have a couple other general observations just from being there, because for people who may be catching this podcast from parts unknown and maybe from out of the state, or maybe didn't get a chance to actually watch the game or listen to it on the radio, you do miss a lot by not being here in person. First of all, I am doing this podcast right now, bucket hat. If you're a ticket holder, first 10,000 through the gate, got a bucket hat. And Louis, it's reversible.
It's reversible.
All
That's the
black
best part
with the
about
logo,
Yeah.
island-style red on the other. And then, second, there were a lot of Hawaii fans in attendance, many of them in our green lot, of course. And they had a big old luau going in the corner as we pulled up. And then the cops pulled up, 2 squad cars, and I thought that they were going to break it up. And I was wondering if they were having this luau in the right part of the parking lot, because there are rules about such things.
Yeah, they were having fun. One guy even went and put his hands behind his back next to the police car,
Yeah.
and his buddy took his picture, and then he was laughing to make it look like he was being
arrested. They have a great
arrested.
sense of humor on the islands. But anyways, as I asked somebody at the luau, hey, are these cops breaking up your fun? And he said, no, the cops, they just came here to get something to eat. He pointed over there. And then another thing I noticed, that TV reigns supreme here, because everything is set up to put its best face forward on the field. Did you know that before the broadcast starts, there's a field crew for Snack Rabbit Stadium? There's a guy armed with this coloring material and sprinkles it on the logos to give them a good going over so they show up nice and sharp, at least for the first few possessions. And anyways, that was a great evening spent in Mission Valley. October weather, 5 p.m. start, cool breeze going despite the heat warnings, a bit of low clouds and fog rolling in. And most of the field was in shade by the time we kicked this off. What did you think of the environment?
I thought it was good, Steve. The place seemed more crowded than it had been in previous weeks. I know the Aztecs gave season ticket holders a chance to give away a few tickets to friends and family, and I think some people took advantage of that. So it was a good crowd on hand, especially with the Padres and Dodgers playing at the same time. So who
Right.
knows?
The reported attendance 31,000. Another independent review kind of said maybe they had 22,000 actually through the turnstiles. One of the observations I had early on was, hey, where are the students? The student section wasn't even half full as the game started, and I was wondering, was there midterms? And then there was a cool Coast Guard flyover after the national anthem. And then East County native Lon Sheriff made a special appearance, did the Warrior Walk. The UT had a nice write-up on him. He planted the spear in the ground at the beginning of the game. He was a QB for the Aztecs in 1999-2002. Tossed a few balls to a friend of the show, J.R. Tolver's way back in the day, and now we understand he coaches QBs at Canyon Hills High School. His son Talon is a freshman wide receiver on the varsity.
Yeah, a lot of fanfare, excitement in the stadium today. There was great energy. And the Aztecs, I think, the game was tied 3-3, and I think one of the big turns in the game was in the second quarter when Jelani Whitmore picked off a pass from Shager, and then the Aztecs were able to take advantage, Steve, and go on an 8-play, 55-yard touchdown drive that ended with a 9-yard touchdown run from Marquez Cooper. And I think the Aztecs really showed at that point that they were able to move the ball on Hawaii and that they were going to have some success on the evening.
The game in doubt, though, throughout. Aztecs had kind of a next man up mentality. They had some shifting around on the offensive line. We'll talk more about that. And why don't we go ahead and do you have any other observations before we go to our famous quarter-by-quarter wrap-up?
No, in the quarter-by-quarter wrap-up, we will talk about Trey White, who had 3 more sacks today, and more on that in a bit.
Lewis, Hawaii wins the toss. They will defer to the second half. The Aztecs start at their own 25 after downing the kickoff into the end zone. Start off with an end around to Deshaun Polk to start for a first down. A give to Marquez Cooper between the tackles for maybe 2. Second down. The blocking goes south. Cooper loses yards. 3rd and 12. O'Neal to pass then. No one touches number 57, Jackie Johnson, for the sack, a loss of 8. Then look at that punt by Tyler Pastula inside the Hawaii 5, 65 yards. Now Aztecs D against Braden Schrager. Short gain on a give to Landon Sims out of the gun. Incomplete pass brings up 3rd and 8. Off receiver's fingertips and a 3 and out to flip the field. Makai Shaw back deep to receive, and he gains 7 to the home 42. Coach Glue will gather the offense round during the TV timeout. Student body left then to Cooper for a short loss. You can hear some of the fans kind of grumble a bit. Polk handles a quick pass over the middle for 6 yards and also takes a shot. Cooper then moves the chains with a pass catch in the flat to the 45, 3rd and 5. O'Neal, quick pass to Lewis Brown, the 4th, LB for 10. Continuing with the no huddle now, the give to Cooper up the middle for a nice game, but yellow cloth on the field, it's a hold. Aztecs held those at bay last game, but here we are. Now it's 1st and 15 on the Hawaii 42. Cooper again a short pass. 3rd and 7 now, a give between the tackles to Cooper. No gain, 4th and 5, Hawaii 32. Aztecs looking to go for it. Hawaii needs time to talk it over. And then a nice route inside, complete to LB, and the chains move. Then the Aztecs will lose 2 to LB on the next pass that comes his way. Second down's a short completion for 4 yards. 2nd and 8, 24. Tidy little short middle screen to Deshaun Polk to the 8-yard line. There are no huddles, no tomorrows. O'Neal rolls on 2nd and 8, and no one is open. He will keep and gain a couple to the 5. 3rd and 5 call is a misdirection play fake to Cooper and a throw incomplete. In comes Gabe Placencia for the field goal from 24 yards out. It is good. Aztecs up 3-0, 5:35 to play in the first. The drive, 16 plays, 53 yards, 6 minutes, 38 seconds. Placencia's kick fielded at the 1. Bit of lost fielding by Dylan Hines, and he is brought down by Max Garrison at the 10. Shager all time to throw, and he finds Declan Crotus 14-yard gain to the 24. Short carry, incomplete pass, brings up 3rd and 8. Shager forever to throw with great protection. He finds Curtis Spencer over the middle for a first down to the 43. The next play is the drop pass. The receiver was open. 2nd and 10 once again. Shager has forever, middle wide open, and it's complete to the 38. No huddle swing pass follows, good for 8. Aztecs defense bending a lot on this drive. More good blocking by the Hawaii offensive line. The carry is good for a first down to the 21. Shager again, all kinds of time. Aztecs rush just 3, and Shager will keep it for no gain. The quarterback continues his roll. He completes another pass to the 21. 3rd and inside a yard. Landon Sims with the carry is 1st and goal from the 8. Shager has to unload under pressure. No one open. Incomplete. 2nd and 8. Shager throws incomplete. It's a drop. 3rd and goal from the 8. Here we go. Fans finding their voice here. Now the students are giving him heck, and it's offside Hawaii. And the student section is in full throat. The defenders egging them on. Hello, students. Nice of you to join. Now the section looking full all of a sudden. Will they be here, though, when the team needs them in the final stanza? Shager will throw incomplete over the middle. D will give up a field goal to Kansei Matsuzawa, 35 yards, 43 seconds left in the quarter 1. 15 plays, 77 yards, 4 minutes, 39 seconds on the Hawaii drive. Polk will field the kickoff 1 yard deep into the end zone. He'll find some space to the Aztec 34. A deep pass complete to LB, but you could see from here he pushed off. And it's coming back to the Aztecs 19, 1st and 25. Give to Cooper up the middle, following blockers well, and that will bring this quarter to a close, tied up 3 apiece. Here's my headline, Lewis. Aztecs lead time of possession in the quarter, 9:24 to 5:36.
The second quarter, Steve, starts with a great defensive effort by the Aztecs. First, Trey White tips a Braden Shager pass on 1st and 10. Then after a 20-yard Hawaii completion, Trey White with another great play, tackling David Cordero after a short pass for a 1-yard loss. And then on 3rd and 11, Josh Hunter makes a great tackle on Tylan Hines after a pass for just a 1-yard gain, forcing a Hawaii punt. Next possession, Aztecs get a break with a defensive pass interference call on a 3rd and 11 throw from Danny O'Neal to Lewis Brown. But the next play on another long pass, this time it's offensive pass interference called on Deshaun Polk, and the Aztecs again forced to punt. But the Aztecs defense comes up big as Jelani Whitmore picks off Braden Shager, and the Aztecs are set up on their own 45, and this time they take advantage. On 1st and 10, Marquez Cooper with his best run of the night, 31 yards to Hawaii's 24. But Hawaii's defense stiffens, and the Aztecs go for it on 4th and 1 from Hawaii's 15, and Danny O'Neal calls his own number, keeps it, doesn't get much, but does get the 1 yard needed. Then after 2 more Cooper runs, Cooper is called again a 3rd time, and he gallops 9 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. 10-3 Aztecs on an 8-play, 55-yard drive. But Hawaii answers back. On a 2nd and 9 from Hawaii's own 48, Trey White just misses a sack on Shager that ends up with the quarterback gaining 7 yards. Then Shager keeps it again for 7, and this time he's tackled by Ryan Henderson, who gets there just a bit too late. He's called for targeting, and he's tossed from the game. Hawaii ties the game on the next play on a 23-yard touchdown pass to Tylan Hines, and it is 10-10. But with the first half winding down, the Aztecs get moving. 19 yards to Nate Bennett, 19-yard pass to Jordan Napier, and an 8-yard run by Marquez Cooper, and suddenly the Aztecs are all the way down to the Hawaii 29. But after a Cooper 8-yard run, he loses 2, and then a deep pass to Napier goes incomplete, setting up a 4th and 4 from Hawaii's 32, and the Aztecs get it barely again on a 4-yard completion to Nate Bennett. Then a defensive holding play sets the Aztecs up, 1st and 10 from Hawaii's 16, and on the next play, boom, 16-yard touchdown pass to Lewis Brown, giving the Aztecs a 17-10 halftime lead after a 9-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, Steve, that took just 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Lewis, it says here if the Aztecs can continue dominating that time of possession going forward, their chances of winning improve vastly. Hawaii to receive the kick from Placentia. Return to the 15. Good coverage on special teams. Shager's first pass off the mark. 2nd and 10. Shager first has all kinds of time to throw. Then he's run down from behind for an 8-yard loss. Guess who? Trey White. 3rd and 18. Hines will gain 11, but Hawaii will punt. The upback Napier will return it 12 yards. Aztecs' first possession of the half on Hawaii's 44. How fast will the Aztecs start at the second half? Give to Cooper, gains 4. Next play, gains nothing. 3rd and 6, just like that. Then a nice catch by LB on the fingertips. First down to the 30. Cooper dances for 9 to the 22. He will then gain nothing on 2nd and 2. Cooper with 4 carries all of a sudden. Make it 5. He dodges inside for the first down to the 20. Another no gain by Cooper. Then 2nd and 9 from O'Neal. He will roll left. No one's open. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 10. The defensive line knows he must throw, and he is buried for a 5-yard loss. The sack by Malachi Finau. Placencia in now for a field goal attempt. It's delayed. Time must be called because the Aztecs rushing in alignment at the last minute. 43-yarder, though, by Gabe Placencia, good after the pause. Aztecs lead 20-10, 8:33 in the quarter. Hawaii takes over on their own 25 after Gabe follows with a blast out of the end zone. Short pass incomplete upon review. Then Shager, all kinds of time to throw again. He is finally flushed. He dishes a rugby throw to Cam Barfield. First down at the 43. A Shager keeper follows. Then Sims for 14 to the Aztecs 35. Hawaii on the move all of a sudden. First down, no gain on the carry. Then a short pass loses one. 3rd and 12, just like that. The student section says, meh. Again, though, a big completion over the middle to the Aztecs 22. More great protection by Hawaii's offensive line. Shager will then scramble downfield, heading out of bounds, and then will sustain a late hit by J.D. Coffey III. It will place the ball on the Aztecs 4. Shager nowhere to throw on the next play. He is brought down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and goal, give to Barfield. 2-yard loss. It's 3rd and 6. There are fewer fans now giving the D support all of a sudden. No matter, Shager, plenty of time despite the Aztecs stunting rush. He will complete a pass to Profeli Ashlock for the touchdown. Hawaii will then draw an unsportsmanlike conduct for excessive celebration. Assessed on the kickoff. The extra point's good. It's a 2017 ball game. The drive covers 12 plays, 75 yards, and 6 minutes, 27 seconds. There's 2:06 left in the quarter. This is a big conference game here, folks. Both teams are going at it hard. Aztecs will start off with great field position after the kick from the Hawaii 20 is knocked out of bounds at the 50. They will start with a deep ball to Lewis Brown. It's incomplete. The crowd wants pass interference. Looks like it from here, but no call, say the refs. Then a give to Cooper for nothing. He's looking a little slower to my eye after more than 20 carries to this point. Then a pre-snap penalty moves the ball back 10 yards. Call on 3rd and 20 is another give to Cooper. Aztecs have to punt after being gifted with excellent field position on that drive. The punt is inside the 10. There's a bit of a struggle for it. Did it hit the receiver? Refs talking it over. Whatever, it will be Hawaii's ball at their own 6 with 27 seconds left in the quarter. Give to a back for a short gain. A holding call will move the ball back to the 5. Shager from his own end zone is complete. And the next quarter is all you, Lewis, but from here feels like similar play calling to the second half against Central Michigan. Lots of gives to Cooper for not a whole lot. Aztecs still lead time of possession to this point, 25-28 to 19-32.
Fourth quarter, Steve. Hawaii takes control of the game at this point on a 14-play, 89-yard touchdown drive. Aztecs just could not get Hawaii off the field. The drive started well with Marlon Lewis sacking Shager, but on 2nd and 10 from Hawaii's own 22, Shager keeps the ball for 6, and then a late hit is called on Delshawn Staley, giving Hawaii a 1st and 10 at their own 43. And from there, Hawaii moves the ball down the field pretty easy. Aztecs defense at this point looks gassed. Hawaii gets down to the Aztecs' 23-yard line, and Shager finds Nick Senecal for a 23-yard touchdown, 14-play, 89-yard drive, and Hawaii leads 24-20. But the Aztecs move the ball downfield quickly as Danny O'Neal, pinned back on his own 13-yard line, finds Nate Bennett for a big 48-yard completion. Then a 17-yard run by Cooper gets the ball to Hawaii's 22. On 3rd and 4, a huge play in the game. Aztecs trying to avoid that field goal try, and O'Neal finds a wide-open Jordan Napier for 14 yards down to the 2. Then who else but Marquez Cooper with the short touchdown. Aztecs regain the lead 27-24. Hawaii gets the ball back with a 7:05 left in the game and keeps it for nearly 6 minutes. It was a crazy possession that consisted of 13 plays. Every time it looked like Hawaii would take control, the Aztecs made a big play, and vice versa. Every time it looked like the Aztecs had the upper hand, Hawaii made a big play. On 3rd and 5 from their own 30, Braden Shager keeps it and gets 5 for the first down. They get it up to midfield, but on 2nd and 7 from the Aztecs 47, Trey White gets to Shager for the sack. But give Hawaii credit, just a few plays later on 4th and 18 from their own 42, Shager hits Pefele Ashlock for 19. It's Hawaii, 1st and 10 from the Aztecs 39. After an incomplete pass, it is Trey White again with his 3rd sack of the game for a loss of 7. And after the game, White talked about his big game.
Yeah, we knew we had to close it, had to make some plays to finish the game, and we couldn't let their offense drive down on us like they did last week. So we know how to come up big, and that's what we did. I just wanted to come up big for our team. I didn't want to have that feeling of a loss again. I hate that feeling, and I know our whole team does. Just the look on our faces after that Central Michigan game was terrible, and I never want that to happen to us again. So we got to come up big every time that happens, and when we have control over what happens in the end, we got to come down and just make plays and make it happen.
That sack made it 3rd and 17 from the Aztecs 46, and Shager hits Ashlock again, this time for 15 yards, too short of the first down, all the way to the Aztecs 31. So on 4th down, it would be a 48-yard field goal try, but Coach Timmy Chang keeps his offense on the field, and the Aztecs make them pay on 4th and 2. A short pass to Ashlock loses 2 yards, but he fumbles. Nick Senecal recovers, but short of the marker, and the Aztecs get it back with 1:12 left on the clock. Hawaii uses its timeouts to force a punt, but with 2 seconds left on the clock and Hawaii in desperation mode, Shager is sacked by Marlon Lewis, his 2nd of the night, and 5th sack of the game for the Aztecs, and they win it 27-24. Steve?
Lewis, my post-game thoughts at this point concern special teams and the Aztecs' ability to generate 323 yards total offense with an offensive line that had some question marks going into this game. First to special teams, great bounce back from last game. Gabe Placencia had the rabbit's foot tonight for the Aztecs. 2 of 2 in field goal attempts, 3 extra points. That's 9 of the Aztecs' 27-point total. Here's Coach Lou on the performance.
Yeah, I mean, every point in this contest was critically important, and everything that Gabe did, every single time he went out, he was able to rise to that occasion, right, because of his training, because of his preparation, and met, again, through all the adversity that he's gone through this year, through the competition, to where he clearly separated himself this week, and he'll be our guy going forward, and obviously, took a big step tonight in doing his part and obviously helping us win in a big-time fashion.
And, of course, there's more to special teams than that. Aztecs covered well on punts and kickoffs. No big returns given up. Punter Tyler Pastula averaged 47.6 yards on 5 attempts. Plus, kick and punt returners generated positive yards on their attempts. They did not turn the ball over. Polk had the longest kick return for 35 yards. Shaw a long of 15 on the punt returns. Asked Trey White and Danny O'Neal to comment on the bounce-back performance overall. Here's what they had to say.
We obviously watched the film, and, we just got to pick up our brothers. We just got to leave what happened last week behind and just got to be better the next week following. So I think that's what we did. So we came out with the W and it worked.
Yeah, just being able to play connected in all 3 phases. When one is slacking, the other 2 ought to be able to pick it up. So, no matter which one it is, being able to lean on each other as a team, that's what's going to carry us the rest of the season.
To the offensive line now and the job they did with a couple of guys banged up going into the game. The UT noted 2 starters were question marks. Left guard Miles Moreau did not start due to a knee injury. Center Braden Bryant has an ankle issue. He started the game but eventually gave way. From left to right, starting 5, Christian Jones, Ross Ulugalo Masuli. Bryant started this game, but Dean Abdullah, stepped in? Tyler McMahon and Nate Williams. Here's O'Neal and Coach Lou on the front five's performance.
It's week 5 of the season, and some guys are starting to get a little banged up. So, like Trey said, next man up mentality. Dean stepped in at the center position and played really well. Super proud of the way that he came in and handled the situation, making all the right calls, making everything easier. The way they communicated up front, it was a phenomenal job. And in the past game, I was I think sacked twice. So had a great pocket most of the game, and there were a few things here and there in the run game that we're definitely going to get cleaned up, and maybe it's some of the looks that we were getting or something of that nature, but just being able to attack the film room tomorrow, see our mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah, I thought they responded great, right? Braden Bryan tried to go inside, and Dean did a heck of a job stepping up and doing a great job communicating, making sure that all 5 guys were playing cohesive and together as one. And again, when push came to shove and we needed to responded, I thought one of the best things that they did was able to control the front. We were able to protect. We were able to be multiple because of the way that they were playing behind their pads, and to go get, that touchdown drive at the end of the first half, and then obviously respond when we went down, 24-20. We talk all the time about, hey, we got to answer a score with a score. And those guys are like, hey, coach, let's rock and roll. Let's go do it. And they played cohesively together. They battled, they fought. We got some unique looks, coming off of the bye week that they had cooked up, and they've done a nice job. And Coach Schmidt did an excellent job, finding the solutions and giving it to those guys so that we could take the test together and pass it and come out as winners tonight.
Lewis, the Aztecs are 2-3 on the season. They are 1-0 in the Mountain West. Hawaii is now 2-3 and 0-1 in the conference.
Steve, a few things before we wrap this up. It was another solid performance for quarterback Danny O'Neal. 24 of 33 for 224 yards, and again, 0 turnovers. O'Neal has now thrown 80 passes on the season and has 0 interceptions. Quite remarkable, especially for a true freshman. After the game, O'Neal and Coach Sean Lewis talked about the streak.
Yeah, definitely, throughout the week, you kind of test the limits a little bit more. New concepts, new looks. So you kind of test the limits there, and then maybe on Tuesday, first day of practice of the week, you're testing it. Wednesday, you really got to dial in, and this is a good look, this is a bad look, this is a smart throw, this isn't. And then just being able to protect the ball on Saturdays is my main job. So just being able to put the ball in playmakers' hands and distribute the ball and not have any turnovers. That's my goal every week.
Yeah, he's coachable. I told him before we went out there, we're wearing black tonight, so throw it to the guys in the black shirt. Again, he does a great job with his process. He does a great job, knowing and understanding again that what is open at this level, and I think that's something that young quarterbacks have to learn and they have to feel on their own, and he's done a very good job with that from his film study and then the actual application of what he's been able to do, and to know by again testing himself against our defense on a daily basis, right, in that competition day in and day out. He knows and understands, okay, hey, when I'm going against Eric Butler, and I'm going against Deshaun Staley, and I'm going against Deshaun McEwen and Chris Johnson, this is open, that ain't open, right? And then when you get to compete against those guys on a daily basis, and you go against another opponent, right, that happens to be Hawaii this evening, you have a good feel for where you can fit a football and where you can't, right? So he does, again, a good job knowing and understanding, all right, hey, this is a good calculated shot, and that's a part of who we are, and we're going to take those throws, knowing that good things are going to happen because of that, versus, no, that window's too tight and we're outnumbered. That's a high-risk throw. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find my check down, or I'm going to, throw the ball away, get back to the line of scrimmage, and we'll play second down, because sometimes that's the play.
One final thought, Steve. The Aztecs were exceptional tonight on late down plays, 6 of 16 on third down, and 3 of 3 on fourth down tries.
Next up for the Aztecs, a road trip to altitude and a chance to get back to even overall. 7,200 feet above sea level. Speaking, of course, of Laramie, Wyoming next Saturday. Another conference game, this one against the Cowboys. They are 1-4 overall, but 1-0 also in conference play after defeating Air Force for their first win of the season in Laramie on Saturday. Lewis, say goodbye, will ya?
So that will do it for this post-game edition of Aztecs All In. Thanks for listening. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also drop us a line at aztecsallin@gmail.com or follow us on the X at Aztecs_all_in. So until next time, I'm Louis Weiner for Steve Perez. Take care.